Akai watched the sun setting over the trees. It would sink, and in the last rays of the setting twilight, they would all place their flower petals in the nearby river in the nightly prayer to ethereals in their city of Futa, hovering above the top of Mount Erythane. She saw Yarrow slinking around the base of his tree.
Yarrow isn't looking too good.
He seems fine to me.
He just looks very anxious.
Are you sure? Or are you just overprotective of him?
The cats began to make their way to the river that split their territory from Red Clans.
Just leave him be.
The river's water came from the dark tide's melting ice breath in the Diamond Mountains and flowed directly into the base of Mount Erythane. The priests of the cavern said the river carried the petals, which carried the prayers, into the mountain. The petals were burned away by the burning fires of one, deep in the core of Abyssia, and the vapors carried the prayers up to Futa, which helped them get to the ethereals. The truth was that everyone everywhere laid petals on water during twilight to pray. The cavern just thought they knew better since they had taken up residence inside the sacred mountain. Every cat was allowed only one petal from any of the flowers that grew around the river, meaning that every cat got one prayer.
Do you think the ethereals would be happy this sunset?
We will only know if we are blessed with rain and prey.
Papa, can I wish for something tonight?
Of course.
I'm gonna wish for a whole rabbit for me and Sunspot to share.
That's a good wish, little one.
They all arrived at the river, and Akai, as was the custom for the clan leader, plucked the first petal. She picked one from a lily, in honor of her mother who used to carry the flower's name. She made the first prayer. Once her petal was placed in the river's flowing currents, the rest of the cats followed suit, picking petals and making their prayers in order of age. Oldest first, followed by the youngest. The kids' mothers getting petals for them to use. The mothers were next to pray, followed by the males. Soon the river was full of multicolored flower petals, the full moon making the colors more vibrant. The ripples in the water seemed to glow, and the crickets chirped into the night. An owl hooted somewhere nearby, putting everyone on edge for a quick second. The tranquility of the night returned when they heard its hoot moving further away. Akai noticed that Yarrow was away from everyone, placing a petal in the flowing waters of the river all by himself. She decided to go see if he really was okay.
I wish that Smoke could join the clans.
Yarrow?
He spun towards her in surprise.
How long have you been standing there?
Not long. Just coming over to see if you're doing well, that's all.
Why? Do you think something is wrong with me?
No. It's just that, well, you seem to be slacking off lately.
Oh.
You also disappear for long periods of time. A lot.
Well, so what if I do?
He snapped a little, his eyes widened in shock after hearing himself.
I'm sorry. I'll do better.
Akai sat down next to Yarrow and watched as the fireflies came out and began their nightly dances through the air. The little gold lights looked like floating stars coming down from the sky to hover over the water and among the trees. The kittens tried to catch them, though the insects were faster than their attempts.
As leader of the Grey Clan, I just want to make sure you're okay. Would you like me to leave you alone?
I just don't think you can help me with what I'm going through.
Try me.
Well, you see, I have a friend that isn't allowed here. I'd say they're more than a friend, but we haven't really...
Well?
Akai had to think for a second before getting what she thought the best words would be.
My advice would have to be doing what you feel is right. I won't stop you if you wish to leave, but if you're going to stay here, then you're going to have to fulfill your duties and pull your weight.
That's not much weight, is it?
Akai laughed along with Yarrow at his witty remark.
Red Clan's taking a while, aren't they?
Akai hadn't given it much thought, but now that Yarrow said something, she did notice the Red Clan hadn't come to pray at the river, which was odd. This put her mind on hyperdrive. She hadn't seen Marco or Storm that whole night either. These two thoughts put Akai on edge and her heart sank. What if Storm and her nephew had been rash?
Something's coming.
Akai looked across the river where Yarrow was looking and was relieved to see Storm and Marco coming through the trees. Then her heart sank further when she saw their faces. They leapt into the river and swam across to them in a frenzy. When they reached the shore, they were out of breath and so tired from running they didn't have the strength to even shake the water out of their fur. In the chilled air, this was probably making them freeze.
Something's wrong,
Was all Marco managed before collapsing to the shores of the river from pushing his body so hard.
Told you so.
Storm remarked before he, too, passed out from exhaustion. After the incident in the forest, Blaine and Broke went to the rocky shores of the lake. They had been sitting there in silence for so long it was now night. Blaine was still trying to make sense of what had transpired a few hours prior. He had no idea what any of the images he saw meant, and he felt odd, like there was some large object taking up space in his head. He lost track of his thoughts when something caught his eye.
What are you looking at?
Something or someone is following us.
What?
Broke took an interest and got up to look as well.
Look over there, at the lake's edge.
What are you talking about? Oh,
See it now?
yeah.
Broke saw two movements in the moonlight that shone through the trees.
What are they doing?
It's at the camp we made a few days ago.
Looking for us?
I think so.
Should I get the other two, so we can get out of here and move on?
Blaine stood in silence for a few seconds.
No. We'll see what they want.
Blaine turned to walk along the shore to the other camp. Broke looked at the cave where Poppy and Tala were staying.
You sure it's a good idea to leave them together, alone, this long? We've already been away for a while, and they don't exactly get along well.
Neither do you and Tala.
Let's just find out what this thing wants. I can't believe that after everything, we are still stuck on these errand runs.
It's your own fault. If you had just listened to the cavern and fulfilled your duties, then you would have gotten off just fine. Yet you didn't. That ended up with me being dragged into your punishment.
Both brothers were tabby cats, and at first glance they would look like identical twins. Except on further observation, one would find that Sanson had a slightly smaller build, and his markings were darker and thicker. And their personalities were different as well. Sanson was a lot more uptight than his brother Elijah, who could be uptight at times, but was usually more laid back.
You were at fault as much as I was.
You know full well that is a lie.
You're insufferable.
And that's a surprise. How?
Oh, ha ha, Mr. Big Shot Elijah. How wonderful it must be in the cavern's favor while poor humble Sanson is forced to go on an errand run. How sad it must be to join your favorite sibling on those errand runs.
Only sibling. Now who's insufferable?
Sanson turned away in frustration at being beaten. Although, who had really won that?
Hey, you there.
A voice shouted in the forest. The brothers turned towards the shout to see an amber-eyed black wolf bound from the bushes, followed by a three-legged tan cat with green eyes. The leg the cat was missing was his front left leg, just above where the elbow would be.
Would you look at that? They came to us.
Lucky. I'm so done with traveling.
Are you looking for us?
Asked the three-legged cat. The large black wolf behind him looked intimidating and ready for a fight.
Yes. Blaine, I believe.
If the cat was taken aback at all by the fact they knew his name, he didn't show it.
I'm Elijah, and this is my brother Sanson. We were sent by someone to take you to them.
Who sent you?
We can't tell you that.
What do they want?
We can't tell you that either. So you want us to go with you to meet some mysterious entity for some unknown reason that you don't want to tell us about. You just have to trust us. Really? You've been following us for who knows how long, and you just expect us to come with you to meet this thing.
Well, for lack of a better word, clearly.
Blaine, can you believe these fox brains?
Blaine had been staring out across the lake, lost in thought.
Blaine, you good?
Yes, I'm well.
I asked you something.
Oh? What was that?
I said, can you believe these... You know what? Never mind. We aren't going with you.
The wolf turned to leave.
You don't really have a choice in the matter. You have to come with us. The creatures that want to see you should not be ignored.
And who are they? If we're going to meet these creatures...
Blaine, you can't possibly...
Broke, not now. As I was saying, if they want us to meet these creatures, I would like to know who they are.
Rook turned away in irritation, though not walking too far away if Blaine ended up needing his help.
Are you sure you want to know?
Well, clearly. I just asked.
The two cats looked at each other, debating whether or not they should tell them. After debating a few seconds, they came to an agreement, turning to their audience.
The creatures that want to see you are the spirits of order and disarray.
Akai and Yarrow managed to get Storm and Marco safely back to the camp. They were now talking outside of earshot of anyone else.
Red Clan is...
gone. The whole camp was stripped clean. No bodies, no praise, no herbs to speak of. I told you Silver was planning something.
Ridge said that Blue Clan was a mistake. He swore no other clan would be taken. Surely he wouldn't break such a promise and risk a war.
Ridge is clever. You know he would have found a way around his promise. His words mean nothing but mouse dung. We should try and fight back.
No!
Akai and Yarrow glanced at each other, both surprised at Yarrow's own volume and tone. The smaller brown cat shrunk back into his timid self after realizing they were all staring at him.
This is beyond us now. We cannot fight Ridge. Even with the assistance from the wolves, without Red Clan we would be helpless. And we all know the cavern won't be that much help, being the pacifists they are. We should move farther away. Despite the recent skirmishes, Black Star is still in debt to us. We could try to stay there.
With all due respect, Aki, Black Star Clan's been cracking down on their security. If we take refuge and then end up bringing the text of Silver to them...
We will deal with it then. We will leave in the morning. For now, let everyone sleep. We won't discuss this further. Have the warriors sleep in shifts.
Storm scowled.
You're not happy with my decision?
My sister was simply missing before. But now, I'm starting to think she might as well be gone. And I'm furious with you for not sending someone out to find her. Just think, if we have taken action maybe a day earlier.
You miss Sage, I know. But you mustn't do anything reckless like that again. Think of the clan and what could happen to them if you, one of our best fighters, were gone.
But I have to find her.
Storm! I'm sorry, but it's in the Ethereal's hands now. There is not much else we can do. Something is out there, and it took Red Clan. If you go looking for your sister, you could be taken as well. I can't risk losing my warriors when we're in danger. Stay here, that's in order.
Storm sighed in frustration before leaving in a huff.
Yarrow, you're free to go. Get some rest. We have a long day tomorrow.
Yarrow nodded before moving away to the hollow in his tree.
Marco, take Thray on the first watch. Patrol the northern border, but don't go too far. Stay within earshot of the camp.
Yes, ma'am.
Marco nodded before leaving.
I refuse to believe Ridge would do something like that. He's not what everyone makes him out to be.
You know that, but no one else knew him like you did. They only saw the leader of Silver, and still do. Or what they've been trained to see.
Akai was left alone in silence. Even at his worst, Ridge had never been one to go back on his word. He would always find ways to twist them, but only when he was genuinely enraged. She tried to consider how he could have twisted his promise not to take anyone else from the clan lands, but she couldn't. It also didn't seem like Ridge to leave a clear sign that he had been there. It was getting late. She needed to sleep. To process everything.